You need to hear this because most people never see it coming. The moment you stopped pursuing them, they noticed right away, but not in the way you might expect, not with any sense of relief or casual indifference. No, they noticed with a sudden and almost terrifying clarity. A clarity that shakes their inner thoughts down to the very core. When you stop chasing, the world around you does not just change in small ways. The person you once went after begins a quiet and unseen process of falling apart inside. And this is where things become truly risky for them. They sense an empty space where your attention and energy used to be. A space they never even realized was there before. Now that space feels wide and open. They are not used to dealing with such quiet moments, so they start to panic without knowing exactly why. If you want the full psychological truth about what happens when you stop chasing, hit like right now. Most people do not understand this part at all. Your absence is not really absence in their mind. It works like a mirror instead. It shows them things they never wanted to face about themselves. They realize deep down that their feeling of power and control over you has suddenly disappeared. And what happens when that control vanishes? Their inner mind grows restless and uneasy. It turns desperate in ways they cannot easily explain. It starts to whisper uncomfortable truths they feel too embarrassed to accept openly. The truths they avoid during the day come back to bother them at night. They begin to wonder if they wanted you, not for your true self, but for how you made them feel important. And now that you are no longer there, that false image starts to break down completely. But they cannot see it fully yet in their waking thoughts. Their mind feels divided between what they hope for and what they are scared of. That inner division drives them to a kind of quiet madness they cannot name easily. They begin picturing your life moving forward without them in it. Every laugh you share, every smile you give to others, and every moment you spend not thinking about them starts to hurt them in a silent way. And here comes the difficult part that surprises many. It is not only longing they feel. There is also anger mixed in along with fear and guilt that they cannot sort out properly. It shows up in strange behaviors that seem irrational or even risky at times. Most people never face these feelings head-on. They try to run away from the discomfort instead. They act like it does not exist at all. But you have brought it into the open simply by pulling back. By stepping away and letting them sit with the empty space they were never ready for. Something deep and basic wakes up inside them. Something hidden under many layers of self-deception starts to stir strongly. That inner voice which stayed quiet for so long now grows loud. It says they cannot lose you and they cannot let you go easily. They start remembering every conversation, every message, every look, and every small moment between you. They examine themselves closely, and they examine you too. They try hard to find the exact point where they might pull you back again. And here is the part that feels most frightening. They will feel a strong need to do something about it. Not always in a planned way, but sometimes suddenly and without thinking, because the human mind dislikes loose ends and uncertainty more than almost anything else. You have created the biggest kind of uncertainty for them. You might not notice it yet from your side. You could believe that silence feels peaceful and absence causes no harm. But absence, used in the right way, becomes one of the strongest forces possible. The moment they understand they cannot make you chase them anymore is when their outer image starts to crack. Once that image slips away, everything they kept hidden begins to come out into the light. All the things they pushed down and denied for years start rising up. And that is the risky part, because the calm and cool person you see on the outside is no longer who they recognize in themselves. They will struggle to make sense of it, even when understanding feels impossible. In your silence, you have become the center of their inner breakdown. But here is what keeps the story going. Because what comes after this is something they cannot guess in advance. Even they do not fully know it yet themselves. This is where we end the first part for now. The silence you made is not really empty at all. It acts like a mirror, showing everything they have been avoiding. And that reflection is getting ready to speak loudly to them. They cannot stop thinking about it, not because they choose to, but because the empty space you left behind refuses to be forgotten. Comment "stopped" if you've walked away and felt them starting to unravel. Here is the truth they keep secret, even from their own thoughts. Absence feels more scary than direct rejection in many ways. Rejection has a clear shape, and you can see it plainly. Absence feels like complete disorder instead. It is like an empty space where their deepest worries paint themselves freely, and this is where everything starts getting complicated for them. They begin to notice every small detail they missed before. Every break in talk, every slow reply, every smile that does not involve them becomes important. Each small pullback in your attention hits their inner mind like a heavy blow. They replay moments that seemed unimportant at the time. That joke you enjoyed without them there. That quick look you gave someone else. That message you did not answer right away. All of it plays again and again in their head. In that constant replay, they start finding patterns, or what they believe are patterns. Their thoughts desperately try to create meaning out of it all. Their pride cannot handle unclear situations. And unclear situations are exactly what you gave them by stepping back. Here is the quiet fear that grows in them. They start doubting their own choices. Did they judge you wrongly? Did they push too much? Did they fail to value you when they had the chance? Every hidden doubt comes up like an old ghost visiting their mind. Most people do not know that the mind does not simply accept loss quietly. It looks for ways to fix it instead. When no real fix appears, it makes one up on its own. It creates stories, reasons, and explanations to get back some feeling of power. And how does that appear in them? At first, it starts in small ways, like a quick wish to contact you, or quiet interest in what you are doing. Then it grows stronger, with repeated thoughts and dreams about changing what happened. Regrets become so painful, they feel sharp and bitter. They start feeling trapped by their own inner thoughts, because your distance has set off something very basic in them. The understanding that they cannot get what they want through pressure, tricks, or charm anymore. And this is usually the point where many people start to fall apart in their thinking, because the human mind is not made to stay comfortable with having no control. Deep inside, they wrestle with a hidden worry that they might lose you for good. Drop a comment if this is exposing how their subconscious panics when you go silent. This worry does not follow clear thinking. It works on old instincts from the deepest parts of the mind. The parts that shout, reach out, and demand answers quickly. And here is the difficult truth many avoid. Their inner mind begins making plans without asking their normal thoughts for permission. They might tell themselves they need to prove they care more, or they need to make you pursue them again. Or even worse, they feel the need to make you pay for walking away. When pride feels attacked, right and wrong can become flexible. All the nice outer appearances break down. All the reasons they made up and the social faces they wore melt away quickly. And this is where it starts feeling very personal to them. They are now dealing with strong emotions they cannot manage well. Feelings of want, envy, guilt, and embarrassment crash together in a way that feels too heavy to bear. Yet they cannot act in a calm manner yet. They swing back and forth. Between two different worlds, one where they deeply want your attention and another where they are frightened by the strength of their own emotions. One part of them longs to reconnect with you, while another part feels ashamed for needing you this much. They struggle with the idea that someone could have such a powerful effect on their heart. The conflict grows quietly inside them, leaving them unsure of what they truly want. And here is the surprising part of it all. You did not have to do anything dramatic, you simply stopped chasing them. By stepping back, you unknowingly awakened the deepest and most hidden parts of their mind. These are the feelings they have buried for years, the emotions they have been too afraid to admit, even to themselves. In quiet moments, those hidden thoughts whisper that they feel weak, that they are not enough, and that they desperately want what they cannot easily have. Most people try to escape emotions like these as quickly as possible. They search for distractions or convince themselves that logic can solve everything. But this is not something that reason can easily fix. It is a deep emotional panic that slowly begins to spill into every part of their daily life. This is where everything starts to change. The longer you remain distant, the stronger their inner conflict becomes. They begin noticing things about you that they once ignored. They see the confidence in the way you carry yourself. They notice how freely you smile without them. They realize that your life continues moving forward, even in their absence. Every new realization brings another wave of discomfort. Every observation adds more pressure to their emotions. Yet they remain trapped between fear and desire, between what they secretly want and what they are willing to admit openly. While stuck in this emotional space, they begin imagining situations they never expected to imagine. They dream about regaining control. They imagine reconnecting with you. Sometimes they even imagine getting even, because your decision to step back has revealed one simple truth. You are not someone they can control or possess. In reality, you never were. That truth hurts them more than they expected. It leaves them facing questions they can no longer avoid. Even if they are not fully aware of it, their own mind has started working against them. They do not know where these emotions will lead next. The struggle has already begun, and whether they admit it or not, you remain at the center of it. Slowly, they begin falling apart without fully realizing it. It starts with small signs: an unexplained tightness in their chest, sudden moments of anxiety that seem to appear without warning. But those feelings continue growing until they spread into every thought, every impulse, and every quiet moment of the day. Here is the difficult truth they must eventually face. Your absence is not simply empty space. It has become a mirror they cannot easily avoid. Every time they look into that mirror, they see parts of themselves they have tried to hide. They see their insecurities. They see how deeply they crave connection. They see how afraid they are of depending on another person. If you have ever watched your absence become someone else's greatest emotional challenge, type "mirror" below. They become frustrated by their own desires. For years, they convinced themselves they were always in control, always stronger, always independent. Yet without saying a word, you quietly shattered those beliefs. Many people believe confrontation requires direct action, but that is not always true. Sometimes walking away speaks louder than arguing. Sometimes silence carries more power than endless explanations. And sometimes refusing to chase becomes the strongest statement a person can make. As this happens, their deeper emotions begin rising to the surface. Every buried desire returns. Every comforting story they once believed begins falling apart. The pride they depended on and the emotional walls they carefully built start collapsing under the weight of reality. Soon they experience a confusing mixture of emotions. Desire blends with anger, care mixes with fear, hope becomes tangled with regret. There may even be moments when they pick up their phone, ready to message you, only to stop themselves at the last second. They know they should resist, yet every part of them struggles to let go. In those uncertain moments, the conflict inside them grows even stronger. Every person carries hidden fears and secret desires. When life moves beyond their control, those hidden parts begin demanding attention. They may appear calm on the outside, but beneath the surface, their emotions continue pulling them in different directions. The deeper mind does not pretend. It speaks quietly but persistently. It keeps reminding them of what they have lost. Through your absence, you have awakened emotions they can no longer ignore. They begin creating vivid mental pictures that feel almost real. They imagine you enjoying your life without them. They picture you moving forward without looking back. Every one of those imagined scenes bruises their pride. Every image reminds them that they cannot force your attention or reclaim what you have chosen to withhold. This is where things become even more intense. The mind dislikes unanswered questions more than it dislikes pain itself. Empty spaces demand explanations. When none are available, the imagination quickly creates its own. They begin searching for reasons behind everything. They replay old conversations again and again, examining every word and every pause. Memories that once seemed ordinary suddenly become loaded with meaning. Every unanswered question becomes another source of emotional pressure. Deep beneath conscious thought, older instincts begin taking over. The part of the mind that reacts before logic has a chance to speak starts influencing their decisions. It does not reason carefully. It simply wants relief. And somehow, you remain at the center of that emotional storm. They may suddenly feel the urge to contact you, not always because they know what to say, but because silence itself has become unbearable. Once absence reaches this deeper level of the mind, control begins slipping away. Desire and anxiety replace calm thinking. Every reminder that your life continues without them strikes harder than before. Every glimpse of your independence deepens the emotional pressure they already carry. The hardest part is that you may never even realize this silent battle is taking place. They continue living outwardly as though everything is normal, while inside they remain trapped in constant overthinking. The space you left behind has become impossible for them to ignore. If you have ever sensed someone desperately trying to fill the space your absence created, comment "vacuum" below. This is no longer ordinary emotional discomfort. It slowly becomes a pattern of thinking that changes the way they see everything around them. Their focus grows stronger, their fears become larger, their insecurities seem impossible to escape. And perhaps the most difficult part is that they cannot fully understand why they feel this way. Their logical mind continues searching for reasonable answers, but their deeper emotions have already taken control. They have become trapped inside uncertainty, inside unanswered questions, and inside a silence that somehow speaks louder than words ever could. Outwardly, they reveal very little. But internally, the pressure continues building. Their thoughts become unstable. Their longing mixes with fear. Their hope becomes tangled with regret. Their emotional focus grows stronger with every passing day until they stand dangerously close to their breaking point. When the human mind reaches this stage, it often moves toward one of two paths. It either transforms completely or falls into deeper emotional chaos. And whether they realize it or not, you remain at the center of that inner struggle. Your absence has quietly done what constant pursuit never could. By choosing not to chase them, you slowly dismantled the emotional defenses they believed would always protect them. The mask they once wore begins falling away. Now they are left staring into the empty space your absence created. Instead of seeing you, they begin seeing themselves. Not the confident version they show the world, but the frightened, vulnerable, and deeply emotional person hidden underneath. That realization is difficult to accept. They dislike seeing their own need, their own fear, and their own vulnerability. Yet once those truths have been revealed, they cannot simply pretend they no longer exist. Your absence uncovered something that endless chasing never could. Most people never experience this level of emotional reflection. Few ever meet the version of themselves that only appears after someone they deeply value quietly walks away. If these words resonate with you, comment "Jung was right" below. Now they face their greatest emotional conflict. They want you, yet they fear how deeply they want you. They long for connection, yet they hesitate because their emotions feel stronger than they expected. Their deeper mind keeps repeating the same message. They need you, but they cannot return to the old patterns. They no longer feel completely in control, and for the first time, they see themselves exactly as they are.